What is going on, everyone? My name's Boit, and I'm back with some more Age of Mythology, the Titans action spawning in the top of the map in the blue color, playing as Zeus. His name is Ulysses. Ulysses the Great, Ulysses the Wise, not to be mistaken with Odysseus, who is the exact same person. Wait, that doesn't make any sense. Yes, he's playing Zeus. His opponent today in the red color, playing as Set. He loves his Set. His name is Zodiac. Zodiac is as much shit as people give Zodiac. He's actually in the top 10 right now. Incredibly strong player when he's on his game. I'm excited to see what he can pull in this game. He's always trying to come up with his own kind of unique twist on the game, whether that's some sort of cheese that makes myself get infuriated, or some sort of really, really cool strategy that he's come up with and catch his opponents off guards with all of that kind of stuff. So map is Blue Lagoon. Unfortunately, guys, you got to wait on that mega random tournament. It's coming. It is around the corner. It's going to be games galore. Just so you guys know, the whole plan for me is to essentially attempt, and I say attempt because it's going to be tough, to cast every single one of the Mega Random Tournament games. It's going to be tough because if you think about it, if at the moment there's around about 32 players that have signed up, which means there's going to be a group stage of 8 groups, which then means that inside of each of those groups, each players have to play 3 sets of best of 3s to finish off the group stage. And you times that 3 by the 32. So that's already looking at something insane in the amount of games that I'm going to have to sit behind my computer and scream at. And then after that, we're going to have the even more crazy single elimination, best of 5s, best of 7, best of 9s that are going to be coming where that's happening. So if you guys are a little bit starved for Age of Mythology, don't you worry. It's coming your way. But we're going to continue watching this game for now. Zodiac's getting up a very, very early temple. Zodiac still needs to subscribe to the Patreon to kind of learn about set modern build orders and how you can get a monument down, get your temple up, get yourself a 430 advance time, 2 monuments. It's the new meta for set. Allow yourself to eat the animals and have a really, really fun time. I like this here, though, from Zodiac, shooting that zebra nice and close to his granary here. And the villager's going to finish that one off in the end here. If we take a look at what Ulysses is doing over here, he's finished off his home hunt. It is only a double zebra spawn. This is one of the more difficult spawns for newer players to kind of deal with. Getting only 2 giraffes means you have to have multiple different food locations at the start of the game that you have to be hunting from, and we actually see that Ulysses has been a little bit lucky here, having the giraffe over here following up the zebra on this location here. So Ulysses is going to be able to send everyone over there and have a fairly decent game here. Going up through Hermes. A little bit of a surprise here. We do see a lot of Athena against Set. The Athena threatens some sort of an Athena rush. Not necessarily even an Athena rush. Some sort of a restoration push on a second town center grab that Set players and Egyptian players alike will really want to do. Not only that, it also kind of makes this wall, this box here, less good because your opponent's probably got a shifting sands and a couple of hoplites that can bash their way out of here fairly easily with that bonus damage. But Hermes, the god of choice for Ulysses, meaning he's probably going to go in with a fairly quick town center grab, going fast second town center here on this map. And look, here's the thing. Here's the question I want to pose to you guys. If the meta, and you know the meta, if the meta is for Greek players to immediately grab a second town center against Egyptians, should the Egyptian players start playing a little bit differently from time to time, going 1 town center strategies, as we see a vision getting cast here from Zodiac is he is going for that shifting sands play, going straight after these villagers. But the Jason is already over here. The Pharaoh seemingly did not make it through that shifting sands here, and Zodiac is going to be down not only down a shifting sands, but almost down an elephant here, and he's lost his Wadget. So a complete catastrophe in the early game here from Zodiac, as he's going to be retreating back. He can't get himself his own second town center up just yet, either. A little bit short on the gold because he's made those priests. He even got himself the hands of the Pharaoh here, so his Pharaoh can get that damage dealt back onto the enemy units here, and that is an absolute catastrophe there for Zodiac. This little box that he builds here, a complete waste of gold as well. And that's going to sting there for Zodiac as he's finishing up that gold. Walking over here, going to try and grab this town center. If he gets this town center, he gets 3 Rhino on it, which is pretty nice. I doubt Ulysses is going to be allowing that one there. He's seen the town center. He knows that there's Rhino there. He's probably going to be sending these heroes over there fairly soon, as the Pharaoh is still making his way back home. That priest is getting awfully close to getting back into the town center and being alive there. So he has managed to get back here and is very, very safe. Ulysses having to retreat away. Zodiac getting his town center up fairly slowly here. No Pharaoh on this one because he didn't bring it over, as he didn't shift it either. And all in all, Zodiac's going to be hating on that opener for him. That little shifting sands there, a lot of the time can get 2 villager kills, but the actual problem here for Zodiac is he's not getting this town center up too easily. The Pharaoh are going to take a couple of shots here. Going to have to retreat away from the Odysseus as the villagers come back onto this town center. The Pharaoh coming back into range will start slinging some rocks as the villagers pull over here, start shanking. Ulysses not paying attention, nearly loses the Odysseus, but will be retreating that one. Going to try and pick off another villager here from that range. Takes him a little while. You can just pull this one villager that's being shot down over to the other side of the town center, like Zodiac is doing. Nice play here. He will get his town center up. No problems. But Zodiac definitely in a bit of a difficult situation here, as Ulysses sees that town center going up and says, you know what? I see your delayed second town center, and I up you a 3rd town center. This one, we've been seeing this a lot from Zeus players. It's really, really strong against the Egyptian boom. The economy gets going very, very fast. You get yourself to 80 villages by around about 10 to 11 minutes into the game, and then you just mass units. You get yourself really, really fast to like heavy cavalry. You can actually not go. I'm going to say it again. You can actually not go Toxotes. Archers against Egyptian is a mistake in my opinion, especially with Zeus. And the reason is that all of that excess wood should be going into farms, and you should be making yourself hoplites and hippocon. The reason being is that in the middle of the game, when you go 3 town center, in the middle of the game, your actual aim is to be going for Heliopoli very, very fast. And Heliopoli sort of roleplay as champion Toxotes with buff stats in a big way. It's the Heliopoli is really, really good. And you don't have to get any upgrades for him. So we do see the Rhinoceros getting killed. They're getting a little bit helped out by Ulysses, but that's all that is. And in the end here, Zodiac also going for his own 3 town centers. Now, I understand why Zodiac is going for this, because it's such a disastrous early game. He probably feels like the only way forward here is to try and take the game late game and try and utilize some of the late game skills that he has. We all know that Zeus has probably got some sort of an advantage in the late game over the set player, so it's going to be tough for him, but he's going to attempt to bring this game late game. He's almost got the food to advance here. He's building villages from all of his town centers. He's on this gold mine over here. He's on the peaks on this location, checking out the economic upgrades. He's got himself pickaxe. He's got himself husbandry. Not bad, but he's definitely definitely not in the best position here. Normally, Set gets his wins against Greeks by doing some sort of shifting sand shenanigans, some sort of ancestors, tornado timings, coupling all three of those together. You have to get value out of your god powers with Set. If you don't, things can be very, very tough, as Ulysses is continuing this harass, still getting those farms up. Going down another stable over here, no longer building any more buildings, realizing got to get those farms up. One thing that players haven't been doing, but probably should start doing, is on their forward town center, actually not building so many farms. You can be very, very safe, and a better idea would be to actually make the wander back into the home base, build the farms around your hometown center, around this granary and such, because chances are you lose that forward town center and lose those farms a lot of the time, and you lose a lot more because you've run out of food income at that critical moment. So just to play a little bit safer, not put as many farms around your forward town center and just take the immediate loss of maybe, say, what would probably be about 10 food to walk home for the safety of it all makes a lot of sense. Zodiac is still struggling to get to the next age, finishing up that rhino over there, still building those villages, getting to that point where the villages are basically going to be all but created. Up to 80 villages total is kind of the aim. Ulysses getting very, very close to that, throwing down the armory, throwing down more farms here. One of the really, really strong plays that Zeus has in his arsenal against booming Egyptians, booming Norse, booming Atlantean players is simply just not building units and going to the Mythic Age. If you can get around that, we are going to be seeing the wall here getting targeted down by Ulysses. The Zodiac is actually in here with quite a few villages. And those villages are going to be making a break for it back home, as the wall over here getting constructed to make things a little bit difficult for Ulysses. As Nephthys is coming through. Do we have Shadufin? No, we don't. He hasn't even started it. 17 favor in the bank, throwing up a second monument here as well. And there's the shaft mine coming through for Ulysses, just about to click up himself. He does have the ceasefire. So ceasefire, very, very good. Can block the ancestors or block or kind of recover from a tornado. A lot of different options where that's concerned. As we see Zodiac hitting the heroic age here. He's got himself his Scorpion Man. He's got himself his Crocodiles of Set, his Giraffes, ready to start doing something. And he is going to be going for the Migdol Stronghold. Right in the middle of the map. Ulysses spots it immediately. A lot of the times here, it's actually better to throw double Migdol up, especially when you're advancing to the heroic age this slow. And that way you can hold this position a lot easier. So one Migdol goes up. The units here will have to retreat away. And then we will see this Siege Works attempt to come up as well. As Zodiac has got a lot of wood and gold in the bank. Definitely ready to spam these units out, going very heavy on, as we see the villagers getting a little bit feisty over here. No walls getting thrown up by Zodiac. A bit of a mistake here. Definitely some walls on this corner could have been a very big help here. So we see another Migdol Stronghold coming up on this position here as the Toxotes retreating away. Love to see that wall just get thrown up. But Zodiac is ready to basically go full in on Chariot Archer Siege Towers against Ulysses, which means Ulysses' best bet here is actually just to rush heavy cavalry, and then he's going to be completely fine. He doesn't need these Toxotes. They're kind of a waste of, they're very, very useless unit against the composition which Zodiac's going for, but he's only built a handful of them, so he can just stop them and then chuck down a whole bunch more farms on gold, etc., get himself heavy cavalry, and he should be fine. Or if he feels like he's got the time, he can just go Mythic Age here and see what he wants to do where that's concerned. So if we take another look at Zodiac's economy, still no decent upgrades here. Definitely missing that shaft mine. 49 villages on gold. And you guys thought that Loki macro was a little bit how you going, but Loki players macro, that is, not the player Loki macro. Loki players macro where you just see that they just go like everyone on gold after they hit the heroic age. But that's basically what Zodiac's done here. He's going to be buying himself some food here. I would say the Chariot Archer raid's going to be incoming, hitting this location over here. But Zodiac does have a mythic age, Hephaestus, that he will have to contend with. Zodiac does have himself fortified town centers now, handful of Chariot Archers, villages getting taken down. A little bit un-Ulysses-like to not have his gold on this location walled up. Perhaps he felt like he had the advantage and there weren't going to be any raids coming through, but you have to be fairly ready for everything. If we take a good look at what Ulysses' economy is doing, he's actually forgotten to plow here, which is why his food situation is so low, despite having so many food villages and not really building all too much in the way of food units here. So you see the Hippocon coming through, going to attempt to get onto these Chariot Archers. 4 villages on favor. Not going to be enough for the 35 favor immediately for Forge of Olympus, and he also doesn't have himself. The favor for both Forge of Olympus and a fortress, which he'll desperately need. He desperately need that fortress here. Maybe he will have the favor pretty fast for Forge of Olympus, but that fortress is very, very key, as we are seeing some stray stables coming down. Role-playing as Poseidon, putting up the side stables. Love that play, nice and early. A man after Matrius' heart here, throwing the markets down, dodging the hyena. As he is going to be chucking down his Plenty Vault in the corner over here to get himself a lot more economy coming through as the village is getting pushed back. Zodiac setting up shop on this location. He's not sending any... Oh, I tell a lie. He is sending units forward here. And Zodiac is going to be stuck in the heroic age for quite some time because he's got very few villages on food right now. Only 13. He's got no more villages that he has to create. He's not really building anything but wood-based units. We see the siege towers coming through here as the Chariot's going to turn around and start sniping down these villages, but the villages will kill off the siege towers fairly quickly as one does get taken down. Zodiac is attempting to force some sort of a ceasefire here. As Ulysses is getting himself that Forge of Olympus, I'm sure he got himself out a Bellerophon here as well, who's going to absolutely clean up these Chariot Archers. Zodiac will have to retreat here away from this army, as he's very much hurting. Not going to be able to take the town center down. That's a lot of resources lost there for Zodiac, a lot gained for Ulysses in a way. And now Zodiac on the full retreat, having to work out, well, how does he deal with Bellerophon? How does he deal with that late game Hephaestus that is coming his way? See some more siege towers coming out. Chariot Archers kind of getting queued straight onto the gold mine here, but we do see a stray temple over here going to get taken down. Ulysses, has he finally gotten himself? Yes, he does have himself the Forge of Olympus here. And not only that, making himself some Colossus. Makes a lot of sense to go Colossus here over anything else. You can go... if I saw mass chariots, I would definitely go... for the Heliopolis, but it makes a lot of sense to go for Colossus anyways against Set, because there's really no counter for them. Even Funeral Rites priests just scratch the Colossus because of the 80% pierce armor. But Zodiac can definitely make some myth units and deal with that. So you can make Avengers to take down the Colossus in a way, but you have to be set up for it, because effectively your opponent can just put 8 villagers onto favor and have a ton of favor income. You need to have 3 or 4 monuments set up and be mythic age here, as Zodiac is desperately trying to get his way to the mythic age here as his food is slowly climbing up. Not only that, we do see a bit of a raid over here on this location. The villagers trying to fight back will be losing their lives just a little bit. Ulysses decides, well, better retreat here, but his Hippocon are mostly done for anyways, as a handful of cavalry do get forced out on that position here. The Colossus in the end probably going to fall here, but maybe not before the Migdol falls to 187 HP. 100 HP does fall. Another Colossus going to come in, clean that one up, it would seem. Do we have Funeral Rites here? No Funeral Rites for Zodiac. Tons of favor in the back. Couple of armories coming up here for Zodiac, as well as he's going to be attempting to repair this one back up here as the siege tower getting taken down. And Colossus will end up cleaning this one up. But the villagers all get pulled off the gold mine now to try and repair this, as Silver Colossus does come through for Ulysses. And this might be enough here for Zodiac to hold on. This Migdol is barely going down HP at this point. Still not dropping under 100 here from this one Colossus, as we are seeing the Bellerophon coming in. Colossus getting awfully close to falling, and somehow, some way, Zodiac manages to hold this one here as the heavy chariots swinging around into this corner. They are donkey caravans here for Ulysses that he's going to have to defend at some point, as the Colossus does end up getting taken down. More Myrmidon coming in. We've got nearly full copper through for Ulysses, as Zodiac's got some decent upgrades himself already. There's more units here for Ulysses flowing in. We do have these stray stables over here, so a cheeky underworld onto this town center could happen at any point here and really, really hurt Zodiac. Zodiac's still not able to get to the next age. He is spending a lot of food here on these camel caravans, as the infantry units here of Ulysses starting to stream in, starting to look very, very scary here for Zodiac, as he does have to pull off this one, even after repairing that Migdol back up to nearly full HP. There is a gold mine over here that you could potentially come and sneak for a while, but that is about it, as this gold mine is just about expired. Zodiac in a bit of a tough position here. Ulysses at this point trying to throw up a fortress over here to deal with these two chariot archers. He's going to lose a lot of villagers to make this happen. In fact, he might not even get the fortress up in time, as the chariot archers are really, really strong here. Unless the chariot archers decide to randomly focus down a donkey caravan. There's a couple of Myrmidon coming over here to slice up these chariot archers and say, get out of here, this is my town. You kill off a couple more villagers, I'm going to deal with you, no problem here. Migdol stronghold on the front, going to be getting taken down. Still doesn't look like we've got any more than medium Myrmidon for Ulysses. He definitely wants to think about heavy Myrmidon, heavy infantry. His armor upgrades starting to look fairly scary, as, I mean, he's kind of forgetting to get them in a way, but he's got to feel fairly comfortable in his position here, as the random cavalry getting taken out here from the Bellerophon. 6.0 speed, 6.0 speed. He should never catch up. It's a bit strange that he was able to, as now Ulysses has got his sights set on this town center over here. We are starting to see some towers on this town center. Actually really smart from Zodiac to prepare where that's concerned, but this is going to slow him down from getting to the mythic ages. Towers are just not going to cut it. We're going to be seeing the Migdol stronghold over here getting torn down as well, with those Myrmidon doing tons of damage is really, really big. So Migdol goes down. We see a handful of barracks coming up. Those are for the Myrmidon. Axemen being one of the few units the Myrmidon don't get bonus damage again. If you take a look here, it's all non-Greek human units, excluding Axemen, priests, and throwing Axemen. Don't ask me why Myrmidon get no bonuses against priests, but they don't. Little known facts. And now we see Ulysses making his way forward. Fortress on the front, wanting to start making some of those Heliopoli here. I would assume incredibly strong units to deal with these chariot archers. As you see a handful of military buildings getting dropped over here again, as the siege tower rolls in to clean up these buildings. Meanwhile, we see a stray Myrmidon coming through, going to slice through these villages fairly nicely here. As the Toxotes dealing with all of that in the middle. And Zodiac, he still hasn't really figured out a way forward here. Currently next to 0 gold in the bank. He does have a decent trade route, but no Pharaoh empowering it is a fairly big mistake here, especially considering his gold income with only 12 villages on gold here. He's definitely struggling in that department. So we'll see if he's going to be able to deal with that at any point. Zodiac's now got himself irrigation, carpenter's pickaxe, an interesting array of upgrades there. Missing shaft mine is a really big ticket miss there from Zodiac, as Ulysses is now going to slowly start pushing in with these watchtowers. He doesn't yet have crenellations, but I'm sure crenellations will come through very, very shortly here, as the Gold Colossus wanders by. And we go on after this town center again. Seemingly looks like Ulysses feels he does not need to cast Underworld in this game. Instead, just going to keep brute forcing his way through. He does have heavy Myrmidon now, and this town center is going to get torn down very, very fast here. Those priests that were here are going to be making their way over to try and take down those Colossus. They do have themselves funeral rites, so it's going to be a good help here as the Axemen are going to wander through. You do have to make sure your Axemen are targeting down the Myrmidon, though. It's good to get those mercenary onto Toxotes, but you have to pick off those Myrmidon at some point here as more towers coming up on this position. Very, very smart to slow push into a town center, into an Egyptian town center like this, but any town center is good to do this anyways. But the town center, they're falling for Zodiac as the Gold Colossus will end up going down here to the 4 priests and the rest of those units, but Ancestors getting cast here by Zodiac as the villagers going to attempt to get in and get a cheeky ceasefire and take the town center for themselves here as the villagers here wandering forward. Will they be able to get onto this one? We don't see many villagers here just yet. More villagers wandering forward as Ulysses definitely wants to cast ceasefire, but he doesn't necessarily need to here, as Zodiac does not have the pushing power to get out of here, but he will be attempting to get this town center back up as fast as possible. Do we see a Petropolis coming through here for Ulysses or not? No, he's just got that Heliopolis getting trained up. The Heliopolis not pushing forward. Town center does manage to come back up. Meanwhile, we've got a cheeky siege tower push here by Zodiac. An extra villager over here as well. Does have to be careful. There are hyena here. So you see a barracks getting dropped as the villager might get targeted down. The hyena are actually having a little go at the siege tower there, which you don't see very often. But Zodiac does manage to hold for the time being, and here is the underworld passage we were talking about a long time ago, as the watchtowers are here to help out, but 1 Heliopolis, 1 Gold Colossus, a handful of villagers. There is still a ceasefire. So Ulysses can take this town center down and then ceasefire to take it for himself. As the Pharaoh coming through here, he even scratches the Colossus. He's doing like 50 damage a throw-ish, but there's 1500 HP, so it takes so long for the Pharaoh to kill this one off. And that town center drops so absurdly fast, as Zodiac has not really managed to find a way through here. He has gotten a decent amount of damage onto the trade route here of Ulysses, but losing this town center, potential ceasefire could come through as well. The Heliopolis are going to take down the towers, and Zodiac in the end here not able to make a recovery after that early game shocking shifting sands where without the Pharaoh getting brought. And I think this game would have been a little bit more interesting had the shifting sands killed 2 or 3 villagers here. Just considering that's like you trading shifting sands. A lot of the times here, set players have to hit some sort of timing to beat the Zeus players who go for this 3 town center play here, which means it's better to go 2 town centers into a big push than 3 town centers, because you're just going to be chasing the Zeus player for a lot of the time, unless your game plan revolves around super early 3 town centers or something like that, predicting a little bit of metagaming. I do think that there is a world where 1 town center fast heroics here with set against the kind of standard meta early 2 town center grab that Zeus players are doing might work, so long as you hit a strong strong raids, strong Horus timings. Make sure you go for something pretty similar to Spearman, Chariot Archers. You can't really go for much else. It's definitely something I want to be trying a little bit more, is to get away from this super defensive, super abusable Egyptian playstyle against Egyptians and start getting a little bit more of the advantage in this matchup. Because, I mean, every time I see these fast town center builds from Egyptian players, they've got an uphill battle to play against the Zeus players, so there's got to be another way. If you guys enjoyed this game, please consider hitting the follow on the Twitch. If you're on the YouTube, hit that subscribe button, and I'll see you guys in the next game.